You're listening to Unhooked. On today's episode, the 3 A's of porn addiction. Why modern day pornography is so addictive. So, stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Lipkowitz, and with over 12 years of meditation experience as a mindfulness trainer and coach for high performers, I've become obsessed with helping people break free from compulsive, unhealthy behaviors and addictions and step into a life of true freedom so that they can finally become their best selves and cultivate deeper and lasting fulfillment. I've created Unhooked, the Breaking Porn Addiction podcast, to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to master your mind and optimize your life. This is Unhooked. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Unhooked podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lipkowitz. Today, from the north side of Bali, in the beautiful area of Kintamani, I'm up here in the mountains enjoying a little bit of time of retreat, a little bit of time to get away and slow down and make some time for stillness. And so a short episode today on something called the 3 A's of porn addiction. This is something I've talked about before, but it's really about why is modern day pornography so addictive? What is it about porn and the way that we consume porn these days that makes it such an addictive substance? And on that note, it's one of the things that comes up a lot in this world of addiction is around whether or not porn actually is an addiction. Is it a substance? Is it a behavior? So a couple notes on that. First, we kind of all understand that behavioral addictions are real addictions as well. So gambling addiction is real. Shopping addiction is real. These are things that can take control of people's lives and really cause damage. And so porn addiction, again, it's another behavioral addiction. It's something that you can do and get addicted to because of the way that it affects you, because of the way that it releases dopamine and triggers kind of these responses in our body that we get addicted to those highs. The other thing I like to talk about with porn is that it actually is a substance. It's a substance that you consume through your eyes. It acts on the same neural pathways, the same dopamine signaling as any other physical substance that you might take. So cocaine, alcohol, drugs of all kinds, they are substances, but they act on our neurological pathways. And it's the same with porn. We consume this substance through our eyes, and we get addicted in that way. So I wanted to talk about why porn is so addictive. And again, part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic, why is it important to understand why it's addictive, is that it helps bring some more understanding, some more compassion to this world. If this is something that you are struggling with yourself, you can have a bit more understanding and compassion for yourself. If this is something that you are dealing with a partner or with someone who you love in your life, again, just looking at it from this lens and understanding why it's so addictive will help you have a little more compassion. So the 3 A's of porn addiction are 3 reasons why porn in particular is so addictive. And the 3 A's are accessibility, affordability, and anonymity. So I'm going to go through each of these, and then I'm also going to talk about a few other reasons why porn is so addictive. So accessibility, one of the reasons why porn is so addictive is that you can get it anywhere you want. It is highly accessible as a substance. Everyone these days has a smartphone in their pocket or a tablet or a computer, and it is just very easy and very simple to get access to porn wherever you are. I liken this, I talk about this in the same way that imagine if you were a cocaine addict and everywhere you went, you had coke in your pocket and you were not allowed to remove the coke from your pocket. So you always had access to this substance. That is in some ways what it's like to be a porn addict today. That everywhere you go, you have access to this thing. You can go to the bathroom, pull out your phone, type in a few letters, and you have access to porn. And so accessibility is one of the reasons why porn is so addictive. The second A is affordability. And this is that the truth of modern day porn is you can get it for free. Of course, there are paid sites. You can go to OnlyFans, you can go to cam sites, but 99% of it is free to access online. There is no barrier or friction to getting access to this because of cost. So other drugs, alcohol, cocaine, heroin, these things cost money. And so there is that barrier in place. The more expensive something is, the harder it is to get, and the less likely you are to develop an addiction to it. Just for the sake of argument, as a thought experiment, imagine that your drug of choice cost $1,000 every time you wanted to use it. It would be much harder to get addicted to it if it had that high price point because you couldn't use it as much. Porn, on the other hand, it's free. And again, so this is kind of relates to the accessibility, but you can get it anywhere you want, no matter how much money you have in your bank account, because you just pull out your phone and it's there for free. So that is the second A of the 3 A's of porn addiction. The third A is anonymity. And this is that you can consume this drug anonymously. So no one needs to know that you're using it. With, again, other drugs, alcohol, you need to go to a dealer. But with this drug, you can be completely anonymous. You can, again, be behind closed doors. You can lock yourself in your room and nobody needs to know that you're accessing it. Nobody needs to know that you're watching it. So it removes that barrier of societal repercussions. If you want to be an alcoholic, you either have to go to the store and buy alcohol or go to a bar and order it. Same with drugs, you have to find a dealer. But with porn, again, all you do, pull out your phone and type in a few letters. So these 3 A's, the accessibility, the affordability, and the anonymity, all combine into this perfect storm, making porn so highly addictive. There's a few other reasons I want to talk about why porn is so addictive. The first is that sex is primal. Sex is a deep part of who we are as a species and as a society. And it's a beautiful part of who we are. One of the most beautiful and amazing aspects of being alive is sexuality and intimacy and connection. And this is hardwired into us to seek out sexual encounters. And we can also have a hard time telling the difference between sexual encounters that we're getting through a screen and sexual encounters that we're actually experiencing in person. Our brain doesn't really know the difference. On a neurological level, we're actually releasing the same kinds of neurochemicals and neurotransmitters as we are when we have a physical encounter with people. It's not 100% the same. There are certain things that get released when we actually have physical contact with people. But for many people, they don't really know the difference, particularly if you develop this addiction at a young age. And so that is one of the reasons why porn is so addictive, is that it really just taps into something that is so primal and so beautiful of our species, is that our sexuality and our intimacy. So that's one reason. The second reason is just the porn industry itself. The porn industry has spent billions of dollars tapping directly into your brainstem and making it as addictive as possible. Again, this is an industry with money behind it. And in fact, I read a statistic recently saying that porn makes more than all the major leagues sports teams combined. So the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, porn is a huge, huge industry. And so just understanding that it is an industry, that there is money and monetary incentives behind it. And these industries, have paid billions of dollars to try to hook your attention. That is another reason why it is so addictive. The third and final reason, in addition to the 3 A's, is that many people get access to porn or to pornographic imagery at a young age. And so it can quickly become one of the main coping mechanisms for kids and young adults. As opposed to other drugs and behavioral addictions, which people might not get access to until they are more adults, things like drugs or gambling or shopping. With porn or pornographic imagery, people can find it at a very young age. And so again, it can quickly become one of the main coping mechanisms for people. So these are a few of the additional reasons, in addition to the 3 A's of porn addiction, of why porn is so addictive. And again, just to reiterate, the point of understanding this is that it brings more compassion to yourself, understanding that you are not, the main reason why you're addicted. It's because we are born into this society where this is normalized, where porn is so accessible, it's so affordable. You can tap into it anonymously. It taps into our primal sexual drive. There's $1 billion industry behind it, and you get access to it at a very young age, so it can become one of your main coping mechanisms. So that's it for today. Just a very short one talking about why porn is so addictive as a substance, as a behavior. So I hope that this gives you a little more compassion for yourself or for the people in your life struggling with this. And as always, if you're looking for support, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask about my one-on-one coaching or my group coaching programs. So if you're interested, just go ahead and visit my website, and I will link those in the show notes below. So that's it for today. Signing off from beautiful Kintamani in Bali. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Catch you on the next episode.